at Emkay Global, is now with us. Sanjay, this is Pankaj this side. Can you just tell us about the recent presentation that you've given for the financial space, and then we can take it ahead? I hope you still track telecom the way you used to earlier, so we can chat about Bharti and some other stocks as well.
Yeah, thank you. So I don't track telecom anymore. Uh, and with the presentation that we released is about the broader market. So our basically, just to summarize, what we have shared is that, we think that Nifty index currently is slightly above fair value, nothing much to worry about. And we think that March 23, the index should be around 19,000 comfortably. It should hit new highs sometimes during the fiscal year, most likely in the second half of the fiscal year. And the current conditions remain tough, but as and when the global tensions, geopolitical issues, they ease off, oil prices also cools off a little bit more, and the FI outflows, ease out, and then we start seeing inflows, we should start seeing a much more sustainable rally in the broader market.
Right. So, Sanjay, I remember broadly chatting to you last time around when Bharti did a big acquisition. I think that was the exciting time when you had called that, telecom would underperform. Just tracking it as a strategist, as a CEO, any view on telecom and the excitement around the sector?
So I think, in the context of Nifty earnings and the sensitivity analysis that we have done, certainly telecom sector earnings are very resilient, right? I mean, uh, the higher crude oil price and commodity price, they really don't have a significant direct impact on telecom sector earnings. So it is one of the places to hide if the current turmoil were to continue. That is point number one. Secondly, on the sector per se, yes, I think it's a very consolidated sector now. Two-player, 2.5-player market, and there is certain visibility on the ARPU increase and tariff hike increase over the next few years, because that's how you're going to be paying for your, the debt that you have taken over on your balance sheet, and the additional spectrum, 5G spectrum that you're going to acquire. So because of that, sort of a near certainty on tariff increase over the next 2 to 3 years, this is a very attractive sector to be in. So there's consolidation, there is price increase, and there is earnings resilience, right? And valuations are also fair. So I think this is a sector which is worth taking exposure to in some of the leading stocks.
Hi Sanjay, this is Anisha also joining into the conversation. Now Pankaj and you were discussing the big deals that have happened in the telecom space, but the one which is impending now is the acquisition of the cards business of Citi by Axis. What's your take as far as that deal is concerned and the implication it can have on the financials as a whole?
So I won't get into the stock specific names, yeah, but suffice it to say that this kind of a deal would be positive for the acquirer. There was expectation that another bank would acquire these assets, but that did not happen, and that had a negative impact on the stock price. So clearly, an acquisition of such a premium portfolio is going to be positive for the banks, and especially if it is going to fill up a missing piece in a portfolio as a bank. So yeah, one should be positive on the acquirer in such a case.
Uh, you know, one important thing which probably would have come up in your analysis also is how in the last 2 years companies have either paid back debt, improved their structure, done fundraising in a very clean and proper manner. Can you just talk to us about that, and especially about Tata Group as well? Because I think they have been on the forefront. We yesterday had Tata Consumer talking about a simplified structure. So do you think that is the reason why Indian markets, especially the large ones, are trading at a higher multiple than what they used to trade earlier?
So it is certainly an ingredient, which goes into the valuation. The balance sheets are in a very good position. They have continuously deleveraged. Some of the metal sector stocks, that you've seen very high amount of deleveraging that directly adds to the market cap. But more than that, what it has done is that it has allowed some of these large companies to grab market share by being in a very strong position on the balance sheet front, right? It has allowed them to enhance their scale, grab market share, and the story suddenly changes from just being driven or leveraged to GDP growth plus market share acquisition. So that's why some of these large cap companies, the big are getting bigger, and that story is going to continue for a while, for several years. And In fact, the second aspect is that it allows you to start off a significant capex cycle whenever it is required. Whenever we see capacity utilization starting to hit 80% or so. Currently they are lower. But when we start seeing capacity utilization going up, some of these large companies would be in a very strong position to do a large amount of capex to drive further growth. So it impacts the growth outlook, it impacts the market share gains, and therefore this is one of the reasons why the large caps have been trading. The premium valuation multiples have gone up, and the Nifty earnings have very smartly recovered. We in just in the quarter when the COVID started, first quarter FY21, we were at roughly $500 billion profits for Nifty 50 components. $500 billion, just 50,000 sort of crore profits. Now, on a quarterly basis, we are sitting at 1.6 lakh crore profits, 1.6 trillion rupees of profits. So they have tripled, more than tripled, and that is basically driven by their market share gains that they've had, and of course recovery from a very low base.
Got it, Sanjay. Thanks so much, and thank you so much for talking to us after really a long time. I think the last I remember chatting to you was only on the telecom sector. So thank you so much, and hope to see you again on TV quite soon. And you keep writing such strategy notes and briefing media as well as us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking.